me fix myself. I'm going Battlefield Earth with this fucking thing. That's more like it. So, I just, you know, right here by my table, I'm on medication for a reason. I mean, I take medication for a reason. And one of the reasons why I take medication, I mean, I can bring out a list. I got a whole entire document written down of all sorts of things why I'm on medication. But one of the things I have written down on my list, that reasons why I'm on medication, is when I watch shitty fucking movies. Movies that I give either a negative rating, a 0, maybe a 1 if I'm being generous. But mainly movies that I give either a 0 or a negative rating to. A minus fucking 5 stars, or whatever you want to call it. But I think I might have literally witnessed the worst video game adaptation film I have personally have ever witnessed. Now, people in the comments or probably tell me personally, Gare, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, or Tokyo Drift Speed, or whatever the fuck it's called, or Pixels, which I did see, I hated that one too, or fucking Street Fighter, or that goddamn live-action Super Mario Brothers movie where the one fucking dude had to literally get drunk off his ass to get through making the movie. You know, it can be a counter discussion with almost anybody who can say what films are the worst in terms of what we are given of video game adaptations, but I've seen a lot of them. I've seen so many shitty fucking adaptations for video games. The Five Nights at Freddy's, the fucking Mortal Kombat one that came out, where the first 5 minutes was alright, but the rest of the movie was absolute pile of shit. Monster Hunter, the Tomb Raider ones, or whatever the fuck they were called. The Uncharted movie with goddamn Tom Holland in it, where it should have been Nathan Fillion. Those goddamn Resident Evil movies, or whatever the fuck they're called. But it's not very often where I see a good video game adaptation film. I mean, there's a couple of them that were good. You can say Ready Player One is video game adaptation if you want, even though it's based off of a story. The Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge, that one's absolutely fantastic. Or a story where it takes a video game adaptation and turns into originality, where a video game adaptation type film is done right. Gran Turismo. Or I'm drawing a fucking blank right now, but I think you catch my drift of what it is that I'm saying. There can be a good video game type movie. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if there's a fucking Guitar Hero movie that should be in the works. Or whatever. I'm just saying random shit. But Borderlands. Before the movie came out, it was getting shit on galore by so many fucking people. Even before the movie released. And that right there tells me that it was doomed from the start. Now, for me, when it comes to video games, I've played Borderlands. I'm not necessarily much of a person who plays RPG games that much. It's not necessarily my forte or preference. I mean, there is The Witch Hunter 3. Wild Hunt, that one's not bad. Or you can say the Hogwarts Legacy. I haven't played that one yet, but that's like an RPG game. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which I'm sure a lot of people enjoy playing. But in terms of my favorites, I like playing first-person shooters, or for anybody, those assholes out there, fucking wrestling. Yeah, of course. But I digress right there. But I like first-person shooter games. That's what I like to play. But there's a lot of folks out there who are a fan of Borderlands and absolutely love the franchise of the video games, and I'm aware of them. But The biggest fucking issue I have with this goddamn movie, besides the fact that it's a complete and utter mess, it's the reality that the dude who made this movie is a shit director himself. I've seen literally all of his movies. I hate them all. I hate them all. But this right here was the fucking King Hippo punches to the fucking face. Literally, this movie felt like getting punched in the face by King Hippo. Yeah, that motherfucker, Mike Tyson's Punch Out. But this goddamn movie, dude. Eli Roth, who has never played the games, who's not even a video game person at all, was given fucking material to make a video game adaptation film without even having any experience at all, experience of knowing what these fucking games are, and turning into a movie, or at least coming up with an original story. There was one dude who I believe wrote a script for that, from word of mouth, said it was supposed to be fantastic. His name was what? Craig Mazin. Peanut told me, of Austin Putnam, you know him. He said that he wrote the script for this movie, a good script, but apparently it got canned, and, well, he said, fuck it. I'm going to do something else, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the guy who wrote the Last of Us series for television, or helped write it. But this goddamn movie, dude, it was a fucking mess. There was no story. There was no background. This movie felt like a goddamn bootleg where you go on Temu, and I like Temu too. My fucking shirt's from Temu. But I'm just saying, you go to Temu, and if you want to order yourself a movie that you can say is based off of a video game you love, or a shop class project, this is literally, you know, this to me is an analogy I'm going to make, is that this fucking film is a goddamn shop class project where you get a bunch of kids from high school and middle school, and they're literally cosplaying their favorite character from this fucking video game. They're grabbing one of those old school Kodak cameras, and they're writing a phony ass script that was written by a goddamn 3-year-old, and they're basically trying to make a movie worth it with their own original story based off the video games, where clearly it's just a bunch of wannabes trying to make a movie but ends up failing. Unfortunately gets an F on their project. This is what that movie was. It was a big fucking F. Not just in my rating for a 0 out of 5, but it's a goddamn F. If I was in technology class and I was given out a class project of make your own movie adaptation, be as original as you can be. If you want to make an adaptation, go ahead, but be original, or make an original story. And some fucking kids want to do Borderlands because that's their favorite video game, which is good and all, they got the spirits, but it ends up being completely ridiculous. But yeah, the story was a goddamn mess. There was nothing going on that absolutely satisfied me to no end. Everyone in this film who participated, Kate Blanchett, Jamie Lee Curtis, Bobby Lee, Ariana Greenblatt. A lot of the characters in this movie looked ridiculous. I mean, you got fucking Peter Rabbit right there. You got goddamn wannabe knockoff Becky Lynch over there. You got fucking Jax from Mortal Kombat over there. You got Mrs. Eggman over here. I mean, just looking at that poster right there, everyone looks ridiculous. The movie was silly. It was hokey. And the story itself, if you want to even consider a story where what's her name is coming home, she's got a bunch of friends who are bounty hunters, and basically they're trying to fight bad guys, protect the galaxy from evil within, and blah 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 blah. A story that I have seen so many times before that's probably been done a lot better. But for this particular case, I mean, I can go back to the 1950s and see movies with a story like that is 10 times better. But with this fucking goddamn garbage right here, you're trying to take Guardians of the Galaxy, mix it with Star Wars, Mix it with fucking Raisin Bran, the cereal that'll probably give you the shits, or I might think of Taco Bell or Arby's, but something that will give you the fucking shits if it's not medication, but a certain food that'll give you the shits, and you mix that with fucking Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Wars, and look what happened. You end up getting a title called Borderlands. You can either say it's a crossover between Guardians of the Galaxy or Star Wars, or mixed, whatever it is, with this movie's ridiculous fucking CGI galore, effects up the ass, the fucking stereotypical pew-pews, the ridiculous dialogue and cinematography that was just absolutely some of the worst I have seen. Mediocre at its finest. This to me is just unexperienced bullshit. I honestly have grown so fucking sick and tired. Here's my little gimmick remote here. I've grown so fucking tired now of wanting to anticipate, thrive, or even the idea. I am literally fathoming the idea of wanting to see another video game adaptation film. Because if you're going to get somebody who's got no experience at all, of someone who doesn't play video games, who doesn't understand video games, or understands the plot whatsoever, what makes a game, and turning it into its own movie, of separating the media into something original, or paying tribute, or if you want to do something that was right, Gran Turismo that I fucking mentioned, where you take the concept and turn it into its own original format, which is exactly that should be fucking done. It hardly ever happens. Gran Turismo was a fucking once-in-a-lifetime blue moon solar eclipse treat for video game adaptation films. It was one of those little gems. Like, say, for example, you go to fucking Walmart. You go to Walmart. And you want to find your favorite candy. Your favorite candy is, I don't know, Reese's Pieces. So you end up, you see the fucking, all the other candies, fucking gummy bears or gumdrops or all the other bullshit. You try scrapping down to the bottom of the candy barrel, and then all of a sudden you find that gem you want, along with something else. You find that gem that you've been searching for so long at the bottom of the candy barrel that you've been wanting to see. And you got all this other garbage that you don't even like. But maybe along with those Reese's Pieces, you'll see a little gem like Mike and Ike's on sale. Along with those Reese's Pieces. So furthermore, probably a terrible comparison of looking for a goddamn candy at the bottom of a bucket. But my point being is that once in a while you'll find a little gem with beyond all the shit. But most of the time, no, about a good 90 to 95% of the time with video game adaptation films, they're either mediocre or they just straight up fucking suck. And this is one of those movies that just absolutely sucks to no fucking end. Jesus Christ almighty. I mean, so fucking hokey and goofy and silly and gimmicky and all the other bullshit. Logic has gone out the window with this fucking movie. I mean, good God. I really don't know what else to fucking say about this. I mean, I can't even spoil it or even pick a scene, except what I was watching was a fucking generic film that is literally lost of what the fuck it wants to be, of taking certain things and trying to turn to its own. But instead of it living up to what the video game is all about, of turning into its own original movie, it's basically taking characters from the game, taking a landscape, and just trying to put it into a movie that just completely fell apart and doesn't even goddamn work. I already said my rating. I don't need to go any more about this, except I'm going to have fucking high blood pressure within the next few minutes if I continue going on about this film. But yeah, I said it before, 0 out of fucking 5. The film goddamn sucks. It was a mess. Rip-off. Wannabe something. Generic characters that have no goddamn personality. Silly, hokey, gimmicky goofs. CGI galore. Cinematography is absolutely garbage. And I think I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to take some leave for Tylenol or ibuprofen or something to relieve my fucking headache. And I'm going to get away from this goddamn movie and leave the talk right here. So for those out there who have seen Borderlands, just say your thoughts in the comments, and ciao for now.